celery, and celery once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today, I'm back with vegetable of the day, the one and only celery. So maybe you can only eat celery with a dip. Maybe you prefer it with peanut butter. Maybe you like to juice it. Maybe you hate it. Well, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on why, because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of celery. First up, a little bit of background information. Now, for all of us who are wondering, is celery a vegetable or a fruit? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to say that celery is a vegetable. That's right. Also, it's an extremely old vegetable, with records showing that parts of the plant were found in the tomb of a pharaoh who died in 1323 BC. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the picture. As you can see, we have an Egyptian pharaoh, right, in his tomb. Now, the question is, does anybody see any celery stalks? Whether you do or don't, here you go, guys. A little bit of background information about the one and only celery. All right, a little bit more background information. Today in North America, the type of celery most grown and eaten is a type called Pascal, while in Europe, celeriac is more popular. Now, take a look at the picture, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us already know what Pascal celery looks like, right? Well, here is an image of what celeriac looks like. Notice that the stalks are shorter and smaller, but notice how large the root of the plant is. It's extra large. That's right, guys. And so the size of the root is basically what helps to distinguish the Pascal celery from the celeriac celery. So there we have it, guys. A little more background information about the one and only celery. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. Most people choose to eat only the celery stalk, but the leaves and seeds of celery are also edible and beneficial. That's right, guys. So take a look at the picture. Now, most of us, whenever we eat celery, we normally cut off the leaves and then we throw them away in the garbage, right? Well, guys, you don't always necessarily have to do that. That's right. Believe it or not, you can go ahead and eat the leaves, and if you happen to find any seeds there, you probably won't, but just in case you do, believe it or not, they are edible. That's right. So there we have it, guys. We now know that the entire celery plant is edible and beneficial. All right, now it's time for a few more fun facts. Celery seeds, which can be found either in whole seed form, extract form, or ground up, have impressive health benefits on their own. Take a look at the picture, guys. Notice celery seeds. They help lower inflammation and to help fight bacterial infections. In some parts of the world, celery is grown primarily for its beneficial seeds, which are actually a very small type of fruit. Wow, who knew? Celery seeds are commonly used as a spice when crushed and contain a special oily compound called apiol that is used as a flavoring agent and for its many medicinal uses. Wow, who knew celery seeds were so multifaceted, right? Not only did we find out today that technically the seeds are a type of small fruit, but they also act as a flavoring agent and they have medicinal uses. How interesting is that? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we can eat the entire celery plant, the stalks, the leaves, and even the seeds. All right, more fun facts. Here are some buying tips, okay, for buying and storing celery at home. All right, here we go. When picking out celery, make sure the stalks are firm, bright green, and aren't too limber. Don't wash the stalks right away after bringing them home because this can cause them to go bad quicker. Interesting. It's also not recommended to freeze these vegetables because it easily wilts and becomes mushy once defrosted. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now know not to wash it, right? And also don't freeze it, okay? And of course, you always want to look for the firm stocks whenever you're purchasing them from the store or from your local farmer's market. So there we have it, guys. We now know some storing and buying tips when it comes to celery. All right, now it's time for the not so fun facts. Knowing that it's one of the most chemical sprayed vegetables there is, always look for organic celery whenever possible to get the most benefits without consuming toxins and chemicals. The Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen shows that it's usually sprayed with multiple types of pesticides. Oh no. So, take a look at the picture. As you can see, guys, celery is in the top 3 of the Dirty Dozen. That's right, guys. Apples are first, celery is second, and unfortunately, strawberries are number 3. Wow. So, if you don't want all the pesticides and the other chemicals, then always opt for the organic option, right? So there we have it, some not so fun facts about the one and only celery. All right, more not so fun facts. Why might celery be bad for you? A lot of us may be wondering. Although an allergy isn't very common, celery is among a small group of foods that is associated with causing severe allergic reactions in some cases, similar to a peanut allergy. When someone who is allergic to celery is exposed to its oils, exposure can cause potentially fatal side effects. Oh no, say it ain't so, Coach D. Oh yes. Celery seeds contain the highest level of allergen content, which is not destroyed during cooking, so it should be completely avoided by anyone who has a known food allergy. Wow, who knew celery could be deadly? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a known allergy, right, to celery, please don't eat it, right? But if you don't have an intolerance or an allergy, then go ahead, eat it. So there we have it, guys, the not so fun facts about the one and only celery. All right, more not so fun facts. Oh, certain people may need to limit how much of this veggie they consume if they are sensitive to oxalates. For example, if they have a history of kidney stones. This is something to discuss with your doctor if it applies to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you suffered from kidney stones in the past, chances are you'll suffer from them in the future if and only if you eat vegetables that are high in oxalates. That's right, and unfortunately, celery is one of those vegetables. So, always take precautions, and if in doubt, always talk to your doctor first. All right, now it's time to dive into the 5-20 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 5-20 rule is all about learning how to read and understand food labels. Ultimately, it's a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food or beverage item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we talk about the 5-20 rule in detail, really what we're talking about is percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, it is divided into 3 main parts. First, we have the purple portion, then we have the, I guess we can say yellow portion, and then we have the light blue portion. So let's go portion by portion or color by color. First, let's discuss the purple percent daily value column. Now, as you can see, percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV, is basically represented as a percentage that has a scale. So it can go as low as 0% to as high as 100%. Now let's take a look at the yellow portion. Now the yellow portion highlights those nutrients which do a really good job at promoting illness, sickness, and disease within the body temple. So when it comes to saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, you want to make sure that wherever you're eating or drinking, that those percent DVs are as close to 0% as possible. Now, let's move forward and talk about the blue portion. Now, the blue portion highlights those nutrients that do just the opposite of the yellow nutrients. That's right. So when we talk about dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, we're talking about those nutrients that promote wellness and health within the body temple. So whenever you eat or drink something, you always want to make sure that the percent DVs for those particular nutrients are as close to 100% as possible. Now, to be even more specific about the 520 rule, if a food or beverage item offers 0% to 9% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food or beverage item is considered not a good source of that particular nutrient. Next, if a food or beverage item offers 10% to 19% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food or beverage item is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if the food or beverage item offers 20% DV or greater, then that food or beverage item is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the ins and outs about the 520 rule. All right, so now that we're aware of the 520 rule, we can now dive into the nutrition facts of celery, of course. Now, for today's lecture, we're going to simply say that a single serving of celery is equal to 1 cup of raw celery. That's right, guys. And make sure it's chopped, of course. So in a single serving, which is 1 cup, we're only going to get 16.2 calories, not a lot, 3.5 grams of carbs, 0.7 grams of protein, 0.2 grams of fat, and look at this, 1.6 grams of fiber. Notice that I have protein highlighted with fiber. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what you got to understand, is that fiber is only accompanied with protein whenever you consume plant foods. That's right. Now, moving on. Vitamin K comes in at 37% DV, excellent source. Vitamin A comes in at 9% DV, not a good source. Folate, 9% DV, not a good source. Potassium, 8% DV, not a good source. Now we have vitamin C and manganese, each coming in at 5% DV, not a good source. Then we have vitamin B6 and calcium, each coming in at only 4% DV, not a good source. And lastly is riboflavin and magnesium, each coming in at only 3% DV. Now, remember something, that these percent DVs are based on a single serving, which for celery is 1 cup. That's right. So if you want to get more magnesium, if you want to get more vitamin B6, if you want more folate, it's easy. Eat more than 1 serving per day, of course. So there we have it, guys, the nutrition facts about the one and only celery. All right, now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, I want to talk with you about something. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to talk about the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. So I bring that up to simply say this, that if you want to be healthy, well, you got to cause it by putting the right things in your body. On the flip side, if you want to be diseased, you want to have sickness and illness, well, you're going to cause that too by not putting the right things in your body, right? So what I want to do is go over the health benefits, which technically are the effects, but then I also want to go over the phytonutrients that are responsible for these benefits, right? Or we can use the word medicines. So, health benefit number 1 of celery is that it helps lower high cholesterol, which is a great thing. So the question is, which phytonutrient, which medicine is responsible? Well, it's called BUPH. Benefit number 2, lowers inflammation. What phytonutrients are responsible? Well, say hello to polysaccharides, caffeic acid, ferulic acid, and quercetin. Benefit number 3, prevents or treats high blood pressure. So the question is, which medicines in celery are responsible? Well, say hello to hexanic, methanolic, aqueous ethanolic extracts. That's right, guys. Benefit number 4, helps prevent ulcers. Nice. So the question is, what's the cause? Which medicines, which phytonutrients? Well, say hello to ethanol extract, flavonoids, tannins, volatile oils, and alkaloids. Interesting. Health benefit number 5, benefits for weight loss. Great. How nice is that? So the question is, which phytonutrients are responsible? Well, say hello to antioxidants, electrolytes, vitamin C, B complex vitamins, and potassium. So there we have it, guys, the health benefits of the one and only celery. Oh, believe it or not, more health benefits. Number 6, boosts digestion and reduces bloating. Well, say hello to odorless and an oily compound known as NBP. Nice. Health benefit number 7, contains antimicrobial properties that fight infections. Well, what's the name of the cause? It's called antimicrobial components. Health benefit number 8, can help prevent urinary tract infections. Great. So which phytonutrients are responsible? Well, say hello to uric acid downregulators and urine production stimulators. And the last health benefit of celery is may have anti-cancer effects. Great. So which phytonutrients are responsible? Well, say hello to polyacetylenes, apigenin, and luteolin. That's right, guys. So there we have it. All 9 health benefits of celery. All right, guys, it's time to talk about food. Yes, plant foods at that. So I went to our website for everything vegan. Say hello to forksoverknives.com. By the way, there is a movie entitled Forks Over Knives, which I highly recommend you watch. Now, as usual, I went to the website, did just a little bit of research, and I came across 2 amazing vegan celery recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is entitled Mediterranean-lentil-and-spinach-soup, right? Take a look at the picture. It looks amazing. And the second recipe is entitled Rye and Wheat Berries with Celery and Apples. Take a look at that picture. Looks delicious, yes. So if you are at all interested, all you have to do is click on the description box. Why? Because I'm providing you with a direct link to both recipes. That's right, guys. So do me a favor. Click on the link, make the dish, taste the dish, come back to the video, and share your thoughts. So there we have it, guys. Not 1, but 2 vegan celery recipes from forksoverknives.com. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, well, Coach D, thanks for the fun facts and the not so fun facts and the nutrition facts. But what I really want to know is, when in the world should I eat more celery? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if that's your question, then I got to tell you that the perfect day to eat more celery is Nature Day. What? Nature Day? Oh, yes, good old Nature Day. Guys, Nature Day happens to be the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, some of us may not know what the challenge is all about. Well, in a nutshell, here we go. The 23% challenge is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and it also helps to save good old planet Earth. Now, here's what we need to know about the challenge. Number 1, it's monthly, meaning every month, January through December. And it's only 7 days long. That's right. As a matter of fact, it's the first 7 days of every single month. So here's how we have to look at it. Being that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, that simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every month. That's right. So whether it's February 1st, March 1st, or even April 1st, it's always Nature Day. Okay, so a lot of us may be really intrigued by Nature Day. A lot of us may want to participate in Nature Day. And so we want to know more about it, right? So what is Nature Day all about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature. Now, yes, there are lots of things you can do to get closer to nature, but what I want to propose, what I want to suggest, what I want to recommend is that we get closer to nature by eating it. That's right, guys. It's time to eat more plants. Now, for some of us, this may be easy. For others, it may be difficult. So why don't we start off with baby steps, right? So why don't we try eating only plant foods and drinking only water before 12 p.m.? That way, after 12 p.m., you can eat whatever you want to eat. For those of us who can't do before 12 p.m., what about after 12 p.m.? That way, before 12 p.m., you can eat and drink whatever you want, right? Now, for those of us who want to take it just a step further, right? You may want to up the ante, right? You may want to try to become a 3% vegan. Now, what is a 3% vegan? Well, it's any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only one day out of an entire month. Next up is a 10% vegan. That's any person who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 3 days out of an entire month. Next up is a 17% vegan, which is any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 5 days out of an entire month. And lastly is the ultimate 23% vegan, right? That's any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water the first 7 days of every single month. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be, right? And so what does that mean? Well, it means that I only eat from the 5 food groups of plant foods, which happen to be all fruits, all vegetables and herbs, all nuts and seeds, all legumes, meaning beans and peas, and let's not forget about whole grains. And yes, I only drink water. So there we have it, guys. We now know exactly what Nature Day is all about. Okay, now some of us may want even more information, right? So now that we know when it is, what to eat, what not to eat, right? But what about the people who are still wondering, well, is Nature Day really for me? I mean, do I have to qualify for it? What are the stipulations? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are different types of people who may be interested in Nature Day. So maybe you meet some of these descriptions. So maybe you're suffering from the big 4, right? Heart disease, obesity, cancer, type 2 diabetes. Maybe you have skin issues like psoriasis, eczema, pimples, and acne. Maybe you have digestive issues such as constipation or irritable bowel syndrome. Or maybe you have mental issues such as depression, anger, sadness, ADHD, right? And maybe you're looking for a holistic, all-natural approach to your healing. Well, guys, it's easy. Eat more plants. Maybe you're looking to change the appearance of your body, right? Maybe you want to take off a few inches from your waist, take off a few inches from your hips. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to build some muscle. Well, in that case, you may want to try our vegan lean and vegan bulk programs. Or maybe you're just looking to simply transition from the standard American diet to a more whole food plant-based diet. Maybe you want to help out the environment, right? So you just want to maybe eat more plants? Then yes, then definitely Nature Day is for you. So there we have it, guys. We now know exactly who Nature Day is for. All right, now it's time for Coach D's tips. I'm offering help. I'm offering advice. Why? Because I want your Nature Day to be successful. So tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you're going to go to 3 places. Number 1 is the produce section. Number 2 is the freezer aisle. And number 3 is the canned good aisle. Now, why these places? It's easy. The produce section is where you're going to find all of your fresh plant foods. The freezer aisle, well, that's where you're going to find all of your frozen plant foods. And the canned good aisle, well, that's where you're going to find all of your canned plant foods. Now, a lot of people may wonder, Coach D, what's best, fresh, frozen, or canned? Well, guys, first, I would say fresh, right? Second, and it's a very close second, I would say frozen. Why? Because the nutrition content of frozen versus fresh is very, very close, very, very comparable. And then lastly, I would say canned, and I would put canned all the way back in 3rd place. Because here's the thing. In order for any food to be canned, it must be processed. And during those processing procedures, unfortunately, a lot of the nutrients are lost and a lot of toxins are added. So you may end up eating more toxins than nutrients. So that's why I put canned plant foods all the way in the back. Tip number 2, go to the prepared dishes section. Now, when you're done with the canned good aisle, the freezer aisle, and the produce section, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Talk to the person behind the counter and ask them if they have any vegan, not vegetarian options. If they do, ask for a sample. Don't worry, it's free. If you like it, go ahead and purchase it by the pound or maybe even 2, maybe even 3 pounds. Tip number 3, go visit your local farmer's market. That's right. Now, this is for those of us who must have all natural, organic, non-GMO plant foods. That's right, guys. Farmers markets are definitely the place to be. if you don't want GMOs in your food, right? So here's the thing. It's possible that the produce could be a little cheaper versus your local grocery store. Why? Because the produce is grown locally. Tip number 4, go visit your local vegan restaurant. Now, vegan restaurants are amazing. Why? Because they do a really good job at hiring vegan chefs who basically know how to cook plant foods, and then they also know which plant foods to combine to yield the most delicious, nutritious dishes. Tip number 5 is to get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. Now, I recommend this for those of us who claim we don't have time to cook plant foods, we don't know how to cook plant foods, or we just don't want to cook plant foods, right? Well, I say let somebody else do the cooking for you. That's right, guys. So here's how it works. Give them a call, right? They make the food, they deliver the food, you eat the food. It's just that simple. So there we have it, guys. 5 amazing tips to help make your nature day successful. All right, it's time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% nation. We have inquiry minds. So we want to know, true or false, celery is not a vegetable. Now, I believe I covered that earlier in the lecture, so go ahead and write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. I'm signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you. By the way, please subscribe, share, comment, and like the video, especially if you love celery. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's #eat more plants. Take care. God bless.